Hey, what's up guys, it's Marsleaf here with a bike-RUsh video commentary, and today I have a very special game for you between bike-RUsh+ownz playing as the T59 against State of the Union playing as the Yellow Random. This game being uploaded 5 hours from the time of recording, which is now, and is now sitting on 17 wubs. So I decided to dive straight into this game and see what all the fuss is about. And I assure you, I have not stopped making FPVs. You may be wondering where on earth the FPV footage is, but yeah, I will be uploading much more of that, so stay tuned. I will, in fact, be uploading much more of that. And yes, we have bike-RUsh+ownz playing as the T59 in the top of the map, which is Tournament Dust Bowl. You guys should all know the map by now. It's one of the most commonly played maps in bike-RUsh. In the bottom, we have State of the Union, who seems to be some kind of nod faction. It is a random versus random mirror, so neither side knows which particular race they are up against. We do have bike-RUsh+ownz, who's going to be going for some fast disintegrator. Is he going to be going for the advanced articulator upgrade? Yes, indeed he is. Researching those advanced articulators, which will give his disintegrators a permanent speed boost. He will find that there is no scouts to scout this rush, and State of the Union, I hope he has a shredder turret queued, or he will most likely lose a harvester. And yes, I mean, bike-RUsh+ownz not bothering to take any of the Tiberium spikes on either side of the map. He could have definitely gone for those there, but perhaps it is more of a risk. If his opponent saw that he has advanced articulators on his engineers, then of course that would give away the fact that he's going for this rush here. But yeah, State of the Union completely unaware of this rush here. He does have stealth harvesters, so he can maneuver his harvesters away from those disintegrators if they do indeed come near here. I do hope he has a shredder turret queued. No, he doesn't. So here we go. Disintegrators coming into the base. Harvester, a fourth harvester coming out there for State of the Union, and getting a nice shot off on that harvester, but not enough to destroy. State of the Union pulling them back to the place where the disintegrators are not going towards. Very smart play indeed by State of the Union, pulling all of his harvest off the line. Not sure if it is necessary to pull all of them off the line, but nonetheless he was able to save all of those harvesters luckily now. And we do have a shredder turret up on the front line for State of the Union, but bike-RUsh deciding to attack the turrets and not retreat, which is a curious choice indeed, as usually I would go back, as those shredder turrets are pretty deadly and do huge splash damage to disintegrators. But bike-RUsh+ownz, he has to cause some huge amount of damage right now, as he is pretty significantly behind. He's going for the refinery here. Will he be able to get this refinery? In the meantime, let's check out his eco. He's got 3 harvesters right now, and he is going for a portal, so no second ref for bike-RUsh. That will kind of put him on the same level as State of the Union, as both players now have 4 harvesters and 1 refinery, which is the same ratio. bike-RUsh going to be going for those assimilators, so he sees that as he has map control right now, there's no reason for him not to take those Tiberium spikes and give him a much needed eco boost. In the meantime, I expect him to be going for another refinery. He desperately needs that now, as 4 and 1 is not an ideal ratio. The same could be said for State of the Union, who is unpacking his MCV without actually going for a secondary refinery. But what's this? We do have a crane now out for State of the Union. So State of the Union doing the smart choice, building a crane to maintain his build queue. So he will be able to get that refinery up here in a moment's time. And Disintegrator still going at it for bike-RUsh. He will be able to pick off that Awaken. Speaking of Awaken, they have actually received a range buff in the last 1.02 plus update. They are indeed a bit better than before, and as you can see, the Awaken standing in the middle of the Tiberium field. Never a good thing, because they do indeed take Tiberium exposure. Do not ask me why, because really, how the hell do cyborgs take damage from Tiberium exposure? Does not make sense. You would have thought that they adapted to that, and their machinery can take the harmful radiation of that Tiberium. But now we have bike-RUsh, who is going to be going for the disintegrators and the seekers. Those 2 Tiberium spikes will definitely be giving him a nice eco boost at the moment. Buggy coming in for State of the Union to scout. This is the first time I believe he has saw bike-RUsh's base, so getting the eyes onto bike-RUsh's base here, he'll be seeing that he's going for disintegrators and seekers, and I imagine he'll be responding to this with mass buggies, because both do quite poorly against buggies, especially disintegrators and the seekers. The seekers have a ridiculous gun damage penalty, which I've always been talking about in my videos if you've watched any of them. Aside from this one here, yep, I do indeed complain about these Seekers being quite weak to gun damage. As you'll see in a second here, State of the Union going for a very quick third indeed. Unpacking that MCV, going towards the third Tiberium field. These buggies, let me bring up the hell bars real quick just to see what's going on. We see that bike-RUsh is trying to focus down the buggies with the lowest amount of health here, and the same thing goes for State of the Union. We can see the micro of both players is on point. 3 Seekers of bike-RUsh+ownz are on the critical damage mode, so they will move slower than the other Seekers there. And I don't think that bike-RUsh+ownz has enough to clean up the remainder of the buggy forces. And oh man, more disintegrators and Seekers coming in for bike-RUsh+ownz, so he has a constant stream of reinforcements here, while State of the Union has somewhat seized his production of buggies, which is never a good thing actually, because he needed those buggies up there. He's going to have to rely on base defenses. Base defenses can do a fair amount of damage against disintegrators, but not so much against these Seekers here. Again, 2 of those Seekers are on critical damage, and they could get taken out pretty quickly there. We have a nice contain by bike-RUsh+ownz. He's able to prevent State of the Union from dropping a refinery there. He does have one queued, I imagine, unless this is going to be a war factory of some description. Yes, indeed, it is a third war factory up now for State of the Union. So planning to push that buggy in a considerable force here. And we do have now an expansion now going out for bike-RUsh+ownz. Reconstruction drones being casted on these Seekers, which will help prolong the lifespan of those Seekers, especially against the gun damage of these buggies. And a harvester does get destroyed there. Again, there is no need to look elsewhere on the map, as the action is mostly concentrated on this here. And yes, we can see that the Seekers are going to get EMP'd, so State of the Union finally realizing that he is MoK and he can utilize those EMP equipped units to disable his opponent's vehicles. And as you can see, those buggies just absolutely annihilate Seekers. And what is bike-RUsh going to do to respond to these Seekers? If I was bike-RUsh right now, I would go for Mechapedes. And sure enough, he is going for Mechapedes. Does he have his tech center up? Of course he would, as he has Mechapedes. And yes, since Mechapedes are out, these buggies have absolutely nothing on the Seekers. On the Seekers, not the Seekers, but the Mechapedes. And yes, he will get some shots off on the head, but the gun damage will just simply not be enough to take care of this Mechapede here. The bike does finish it off though. So nice headshots there by State of the Union. State of the Union staying on top of the headshot micro, not allowing that Mechapede to escape there, which will definitely come in handy here for State of the Union. State of the Union, I feel that he's been exchanging a little bit better than bike-RUsh+ownz in this game. He's been destroying bike-RUsh+ownz units much more efficiently than what bike-RUsh+ownz has been doing to State of the Union. And now we do have a large amount of buggy on bike-RUsh's footstep here. But as we can see, this area of the map will no longer be important. I mean, his tech structures are here, so he may have to defend this. If he likes it or not, he may have to rally all his forces up there. We do have a hex pod on the way now for bike-RUsh+ownz. Buzzard swarms being casted next to this hand of nod here, but the Tiberium spike has been captured, so bike-RUsh+ownz now just on 1 Tiberium spike. And man, this game has been non-stop since the beginning. Oh, Prodigy comes in, takes the construction yard, immediately sells it there. So that should be a cue for State of the Union to start training those Venoms to get the Prodigy, kill that Prodigy, and the Prodigy does go down. Uses a useless area mind control on that buggy there, which does quickly go back to the control of State of the Union. And we do have Venoms out now, which will pretty much nullify the threat of the Prodigy. There is enough buggies too, I guess. I mean, the buggies do a fair amount of damage against the Prodigy, although, you know, if you've got the Prodigy, you can teleport Corruptors, and then it becomes immune to, like, let's say 10 or so buggies with just a handful of Corruptors healing it, which is what I like to do very often, in fact. So yeah, we have some interesting play by both of these players. Some Venoms being mixed in with the buggy. Interesting combination indeed. There is no anti-air to speak of for bike-RUsh+ownz. He may want to get a plasma missile battery up there immediately just to defend these disintegrators, which are kind of exposed to those Venoms there. State of the Union not wanting to engage those disintegrators. Perhaps he fears that bike-RUsh does indeed have a base defense queued. But now we have the hex pod with a Prodigy inside of it. So bike-RUsh+ownz deciding that it's a good idea to put a Prodigy inside the hexapod there, which I don't really agree on against Nod, because against Nod factions they can indeed stealth their base, and if you teleport into a stealth base, then it could be very, very vulnerable to getting EMP'd. I find it most useful against GDI, where you can just teleport straight onto their juggernauts and destroy them instantly. So yeah, the Hexbot will be marching towards the bottom here. He'll find that there is a ton of EMP buggies, which have not quite been researched by that upgrade. But I assume that State of the Union will be prioritizing that upgrade before getting any of the others, like the charged particle beams. Although, having said that, he does have Venoms out, so he could be going for that charged particle beam, just to provide these Venoms with some additional DPS. And man, that Vertigo Bomber doing the work for the Venoms there. Venoms have absolutely no need to take care of infantry, as of course the Vertigo Bombers are amazing against infantry. and we have the Venoms here, which will be chilling. Hexapod going to be doing some hexalaming right now. We have the Prodigy getting healed up by several Corruptors. Of course, the Venoms will have a hard time in dealing with that. And we do have a Rift Generator up there by bike-RUsh+ownz. So bike-RUsh+ownz starting to camp now with a super weapon. At least he is going out with a few units. Hexbot does get teleported while being EMP'd. Not sure if I agree on that tactic there that bike-RUsh has just used. But nonetheless, that will save his Hexapod from certain death. And we do have the Redeemer now out in the field, I believe it. Actually, no, it is coming out. Saw the facility, but not the Redeemer. And there is the Redeemer. So the Redeemer, obviously, he can use Rage and prevent that Hexapod from teleporting to the Prodigy. State of the Union, I feel he could push right now, but then again, it's quite heavily defended, this base of bike-RUsh, so perhaps it isn't. I mean, he could use one clicks right now and destroy one of these refineries at least, and perhaps get the signal transmitter with a vapor bomb if he had taken out the storm column. But yeah, we have a very interesting unit mix by State of the Union here. He's got a lot of different units, buggies, avatars, Venoms, Vertigos, attack bikes, even equipped with the Tiberium core upgrade. So he's invested heavily in the upgrade State of the Union has. Not getting the charged particle beam upgrade yet though, although I assume he'll be working on that upgrade right now. Storm Rider does come in for a scout. What could this mean? He does have a signal transmitter, so he could be going for a wormhole. But I don't know. bike-RUsh, why would he suicide a Storm Rider? That could only mean one thing. And yes, it is. It's a commando. Comes in, takes the MCV. And will he sell it immediately, or is he going to place base defenses? No, he isn't. He decides it's the best course of action to take is to sell it immediately. And I don't blame him there. And as we can see, the Venoms didn't really do much, as they don't have the charged particle beam upgrade. So we have now State of the Union massing avatars. He has a fair amount of avatars now. bike-RUsh, on the other hand, he's got a handful of tripods. His Hexapod obviously will be the front line. And now beginning to mass planetary assault carriers. Okay, that's quite interesting indeed. And it seems on the economy side of things that we have bike-RUsh+ownz, who has harvested a significant more amount of Tiberium compared to State of the Union, but State of the Union seems to be looking really good in the unit side of things, so I guess that kind of does equalize it. Storm Column does come up and immediately vaporizes that stealth tank there, so unfortunately for State of the Union, he was unable to recloak that stealth tank in time. Hexapod coming in here just to destroy some further Venoms, and of course, since the Hexapod only has 2 shock troopers inside, it will not be able to take out those Venoms in one shot unless it goes veteran, in which case it will be able to do that. So now we have an attack by State of the Union in the top of the map here, with a lot of buggies, Vertigos standing by, as they do indeed say, and the Redeemer will get a nice rage gen off here, I imagine. All those tripods, if they get affected, will do a huge amount of damage, but bike-RUsh+ownz realizing that now, and force firing on the ground just before his tripods were affected, effectively saving those tripods from the rage generator. Rage gen just goes off there. Planetary assault carriers will be somewhat affected by it, but will one tripod go down? Yes, indeed it does. One tripod does go down there, but he may want to claim that tripod husk back immediately, as he has no Tiberium right now. bike-RUsh looking really dry on the Tiberium side of things here. State of the Union, upon seeing those planetary assault carriers, he could definitely go for some more stealth tanks, because those stealth tanks really do a good job against planetaries. I actually played a game against Bonus some time ago, and yeah, I totally failed with the planetaries because he had made so many stealth tanks that they just blown them out of the sky in one volley. But oh my god, that is a lot of planetary assault carriers, bike-RUsh. And you were able to even afford to purchase the traveler engines, which is very nice indeed. A huge battle is going to unfold here. I can only see it right now, but I don't think that State of the Union possesses enough anti-air to deal with bike-RUsh's army. And bike-RUsh, he just needs the hexapod out on the front line. And of course, he just has to worry about the stealth tanks, but there are none on the field. He's beginning to make Spectres, so State of the Union got the most bizarre unit mix here. Again, he does not have the anti-air necessary to bring down this Redeemer, but the Redeemer getting getting huge amount of damage done. And whew, let me take a breather because this match is non-stop. Redeemer does go down pretty quickly, actually. Planetary assault carriers don't do nearly as much damage against targets which are moving. State of the Union not realizing that now. He could have saved that Redeemer if he had moved it out of the way, I reckon. But that will definitely be a cue for State of the Union to go for stealth tanks. I'm glad to see that he has caught onto the fact that he needs to go for stealth tanks. Rift Generator, that will go off in a minute. And yeah, bike-RUsh is going to take out State of the Union super weapon here. How is State of the Union going to win this game? He's lost his super weapon, he's lost his Redeemer. EMP does go off. Luckily there, and Lightning Squad just came out of freaking nowhere and EMP'd this hexapod. Temporal Wormhole does go down on this hexapod here. Venom's everything. Honestly, it's hard to commentate matches with so many units in the mix here. And the hexapod does get phased, so unfortunately for State of the Union, he may indeed allow that hexapod to get away, as that hexapod must be unempted before it can be emptied again, or else the phase will last forever. It's kind of a glitch. It was attempted to get fixed in the last update, but that kind of failed. It resulted in a hell of a lot of desyncs. And Avatar gets crushed there. Oh, that's not good for State of the Union. A lot of his units would have... I mean, that hexapod would have gotten a lot of experience there. Awakened on the front line here for State of the Union. He will be able to EMP this hexapod. Does bike-RUsh+ownz have a mastermind ready to teleport it? Yes, it does. He has it selected and teleporting that hexapod as soon as possible. But now, what is he going to do? He's got so many units to face off against, but this Rift Generator will be done in 30 seconds, and I reckon that's all he's going to need to win this game, is to use this Rift Generator on the army of State of the Union here. So many planetary assault carriers, man. That is a sick amount of packs. And I reckon right now that State of the Union has a severe disadvantage, but he just needs to split his army up, I reckon, instead of clump them all up together, because this Rift Generator, if it goes off, it's going to cause catastrophic amounts of damage to his base. But what will bike-RUsh use it on? He uses it instead on the base. Not sure if this was a good idea by bike-RUsh. I really reckon he could have used that on his opponent's army there. That would have been a much better option indeed. But perhaps he felt that it was more important to go for the eco. Again, if it was me, I would have used it on the army, but you know, bike-RUsh, he's the expert. I'm not the expert, so I'm not going to complain. And yeah, we have the hexapod here getting backed up by several corruptors, which will easily be able to reheal this hexapod rather. And yeah, Rage Gen goes off, so now bike-RUsh will no longer be able to teleport his hexapod, and the hexapod is EMP'd, and since he used the phase, this hexapod has absolutely no chance of escaping this here. And could this be the tides? The tides could have turned here. There is so many planetary assault carriers. What is he doing? There is nowhere near enough anti-air here for bike-RUsh+ownz. I mean, for State of the Union. He does have a few stealth tanks, but that's nowhere near enough, actually. Prodigy does come in, and since the Venom's got taken out by the not the nuclear missile, but rather the Rift Generator, that Prodigy may escape, but no, the Prodigy does go down anyways. Corruptors attacking the Harvesters there. He could have gone for the refinery, or perhaps never mind. Those Corruptors definitely need to be sent back to base, and they need to be needed for the next hexapod to heal it up back to full strength. State of the Union, he looks to be a bit disorientated here. He needs to make a push into bike-RUsh's base before bike-RUsh has the opportunity to launch another nuclear super weapon. But bike-RUsh+ownz has so many planetary assault carriers that I feel it's going to be impossible for State of the Union to attack his base. And man, that is a freaking huge army there. But bike-RUsh, he's kind of scared to engage with his packs. I mean, he's got a lot of planetary assault carriers. Those things would easily be able to take care of those forces there. Even a handful of stealth tanks would be absolutely no chance against so many planetary assault carriers. But bike-RUsh is going to play it safe with his super weapon. He knows the State of the Union cannot exactly win the game if bike-RUsh stays in his base, because bike-RUsh has the upper hand with the super weapon and can use it in a moment's notice. And yes, we do have the tip field regrowing for State of the Union here. Not sure if that was deliberate, probably because he had no refining going on there. Redeemer on the front line. The State of the Union seems to be relocating his army every now and then. bike-RUsh has tons and tons of packs. Like seriously, State of the Union, he must be wondering why bike-RUsh has not engaged him yet with just so many planetary assault carriers out on the field for him. Hexapod here, I guess that I don't see much use of the Hexapod, as bike-RUsh has more than enough stuff here to attack the Hexapod and destroy it. Those avatars are absolutely useless against planetary assault carriers. And the fighters will engage the packs, but actually most of the fight is getting destroyed there by the infantry and the bikes, buggies, everything here. This is the most craziest unit mix of MoK I've ever seen in an online CNC game before. And what the hell? Did he just use the... Yeah, he must have captured the operations center there, casting the cloaking field on his Hexapod. So his Hexapod will now be stealthed here, but it doesn't really matter, as MoK buggies have the ability to detect stealth units here. Massive battle unfolding here right now. Mass planetary assault carriers, but they're dissolving. Their fighter numbers are dissolving pretty fast here. Rocket squads on the front line. bike-RUsh could definitely afford to use the buzzer swarm support power and clean up some of those rockets there, but instead not using it on the rockets, which are hurting his planetary assault carrier numbers. He could use the Ion Storm, because all units underneath the Ion Storm take a ridiculous amount of gun damage. Not gun damage, but rather cannon damage. And the State's Redeemer has no tip trooper garrison inside it, but not to fear, because he has tip troopers on the front line doing a huge amount of damage here. And yeah, what the hell? This game is absolutely bizarre. Like, the most unorthodox thing I've ever seen. And we do have an elite stealth tank here. If that was 1.02, those things would be giving a huge amount of experience. But this Hexapod may not be able to retreat here. Mass planetary assault carriers. Actually, only 5 have lived. So only 5 planetary assault carriers lived now. State of the Union able to unpack his MCV. We will want to keep an eye on this engagement here. Will the Hexapod make it? No, it does not make it. The Hexapod getting destroyed there. bike-RUsh now looking to be in a severe disadvantage. What is he going to do against so many avatars here? He has only a handful of planetary assault carriers left. An operations center. So I guess if this does turn into a base trade scenario, then he will have the upper hand, as he has 2 bases, while State of the Union has only 1 base. Remember, the weakness of avatars is that they have to stop and shoot, and planetary assault carriers excel at units that need to stop and shoot here. And as you can see, these planetary assault carriers are just annihilating those avatars. There is simply not enough anti-air here for State of the Union. Those planetary assault carriers are dissolving in numbers. The heroic bike does get destroyed, unfortunately, for State of the Union, and I can assume that was the fate of the elite stealth tank as well. And bike-RUsh+ownz, how is he going to win? His drone ship has made it to the safety at the bottom there. His avatars are coming to destroy the remainder of the base. Oh, 3 planetary assault carriers left. Or maybe 4, because 2 of them are clumped up together. And State of the Union needs to consolidate his army a bit better. I mean, eventually he's going to run out of anti-air units, and what is he going to do against the planetary assault carriers? I would not know. But those avatars taking a huge amount of damage, that one will get destroyed, and this one certainly will have the same fate. And man, this Redeemer, again, I guess it doesn't have any flames, so it's kind of vulnerable, I guess, to disintegrators. But the tip troopers are really good against the buzzers. What the State of the Union has to micro his units and actually destroy the buzzer hive instead of going for the buzzers itself. And a planetary assault carrier does get taken out there, so State of the Union feels it's necessary to actually suicide those bikes to destroy the remainder of the planetary assault carriers. A few rocket squads as well. Planetary assault carriers not very good against those either. Tip troopers here. What's bike-RUsh going to do? He needs to... Oh, this is going to be a really tricky engagement to resolve for bike-RUsh. Is he going to get all the tip troopers? All the tip troopers are down, so all of a sudden this Redeemer, the only way this Redeemer can destroy the disintegrators is by actually crushing them. This is what bike-RUsh may have to do right now. And what do we have going on here? We have the MCV taken a large amount of damage there. bike-RUsh must have sold that operation center and done a considerable amount of damage with the tip trooper that he got from that there. Planetary assault carrier does go down by the bike, so only 1 bike remaining. Avatar does get reclaimed by bike-RUsh. And bike-RUsh has no source of income. He has only 2 buildings remaining. Did he seriously just sell his drone ship just to have 2 buildings remaining? He has 1 pack. If State of the Union realizes that now, he could go all in for these 2 structures. That's all he has to do right now. But instead, bike-RUsh is going to be attacking this Redeemer. In State of the Union, he's got a base. That's the difference between Bike and State at the moment, is that State actually has a source of income and he has a base. He has macro. He should be fine, in theory. But we'll have to see how this turns out. The planetary assault carrier has ranked up to veteran. I doubt it will get a kill on this Redeemer though, because of course if State decides to move the Redeemer, then it will not take as much damage. Venom does come up now for State of the Union, and will this Redeemer go down by the hands of the planetary assault carrier? Yes, it will, and it goes elite. Oh man, elite planetary assault carrier now for bike-RUsh+ownz. And State of the Union, again, he has to make attack bikes. He has to consolidate his forces and go all in for that planetary assault carrier. And unfortunately, the pack does not get destroyed by the handful of units that bike-RUsh has, and bike-RUsh needs to focus down these Venoms as soon as possible, as those particle beams are doing a considerable amount of damage. The Ion Storms of the pack can heal it up to full strength in a matter of moments, actually, and bike-RUsh may in fact lose this avatar to the tip troopers. Unfortunately there, State of the Union wasting too many units, I'm afraid. And what the fuck? Oh my god, that ranked up extremely quickly. Are you sure that's not a bug? The planetary assault carrier heroic pack, are you serious? Okay then, so we got a heroic pack now by bike-RUsh+ownz, not something you see every day. The Redeemer has not survived, and I'm afraid this could be game right here actually, unless State of the Union has a few units scattered on the map. He's only got 2 structures to destroy, but this planetary assault carrier, man, it's just ripping through this base. Look how much damage it does. That is insane. And man, there is only freaking hell, that's hardly any buildings to destroy. Are those State of the Unions? Yes, indeed they are. Oh no, he's found the remaining 2 structures. What is bike-RUsh going to do? There's only, oh man, there's only 2 structures to destroy here. There is no chance for him to win this game right now, unless his drone ship is somewhere where I cannot see. But Tip, what are you doing? You've got to destroy those 2 structures there. Forget the units. The buildings are more important. Oh no, State, this could have cost you the game. This is going to be an utter base trade here. No way is Bike going to win this. Oh, just 1 more building to destroy, and the planetary assault carrier does reign supreme, able to destroy that refinery before State of the Union had the chance to destroy the last reactor. Unfortunately there, the last second, State of the Union just lost it. And oh, I reckon he could have won that game if he had used those tip troopers to destroy that structure instead of gone for the disintegrators, which were not kind of important then. But yeah, that was such a crazy game, man. Again, I really thought that State of the Union had bike-RUsh+ownz had sealed that game long ago, especially with the rift generator. He could have used that rift and destroyed a lot of those Venoms, but I'm afraid it was not to be, and it turned out a lot differently than that. Certainly a very entertaining and interesting game to watch indeed. And yeah, up and down units graphed by both players. State of the Union expending a lot of his bikes at the end and Venoms unnecessarily. I really reckon he could have afforded to not waste as many of those units, and instead went in for a good coordinated attack with many more units instead of sending them in one by one. Trickle feeding, as Green Zero says. And yeah, that was unbelievable actually. Heroic pack, that's probably the sole reason why this replay got 16-17 wubs in 5 hours, to be honest, because honestly you don't see that every day in a 1v1 game. I am kind of curious now as to why that went heroic so quickly. Was it the Venoms or what? It destroyed an avatar, a few Venoms, okay, but it needs more than that to rank up. It costs 3 grand, right? Those things need a lot of experience to rank up. But bike-RUsh+ownz being able to accomplish the really the impossible. I've played so many games with Traveler at 59 and I was always unable to get a heroic pack. I've always dreamt of getting a heroic pack, but I'm afraid that was bike-RUsh's mission complete. So yeah, if you guys thought this video was entertaining remotely, then please do me a favor and like it. And yeah, I'll see if I can bring more FPV after this, and yeah, that should be all cool. So if you thought this guy, okay, I should end it right now because I'm just losing my voice after this game. Okay guys, peace out. This is Master Leaf.